How's it going, guys? I hope you guys are having a great week. So I am back today with another What Do We Know So Far video. I want to do one of these at least once a month, if not a little bit more. But I'm back today to actually talk about Nioh 2, which is coming out in March. So here is everything that we know so far about Nioh 2. So this is an action RPG, of course developed by Team Ninja. That's the creators of the Ninja Gaiden series and published by Koei Tecmo. It is actually the successor and actually a prequel to Nioh, which came back out in 2017, and it is set for release on the 13th of March and will be available exclusively on the PlayStation 4. Nioh was incredibly well received. It was a Souls-like type game, and it got a lot of positive response, not only from fans but also from critics, and I'm really interested to see where they take the franchise. So Nioh 2 is actually set in 1555. It's set several decades before the events of the first game. We will not be playing as the blue-eyed Irish samurai William, as the game of course takes place before his birth. It is still set during the Sengoku period of Japan's history, which was an era of near constant military conflict. Like its predecessor, Nioh 2 is a work of historical fiction with some definite supernatural elements. You play as the offspring of a human and yokai, a supernatural being from Japanese folklore. You play a nameless mercenary who battles hostile yokai that becomes entangled in the more significant conflicts sweeping across Japan. Team Ninja have confirmed that we will encounter several real-life historical figures, including Oda Nobunaga, Maeda Toshie, Masakatsu Hachisuka, and more. Nioh 2's story is about the historical warlord Toyotomi Hideyoshi, who is fictionalized as two separate people in this game. For those not familiar with Japanese history, Hideyoshi is an incredibly famous figure who is regarded as Japan's second great unifier, and he left an influential and lasting legacy on Japan's history during the Sengoku period. He's actually incredibly famous in the region that I lived in when I was in Japan. So I lived in Osaka for 4 years, and Hideyoshi is pretty famous in that region. So I'm kind of looking forward to seeing how they portray that in Nioh 2 and the spin that they play on that. So Nioh 2 is being called the evolution of Nioh, and it will introduce some really cool new gameplay mechanics, one of which is full character customization. So while the first game put you in the shoes of the blue-eyed Irish samurai William, Nioh 2 will actually depart from its predecessor by allowing you to create your own character for the very first time. The game's director Fumihiko Yasuda, in an interview at E3 back in 2018, admitted that one of the biggest requests after the first game was that the sequel would have a full character creator. And the one in Nioh 2 looks to be quite detailed and powerful, allowing players to customize different options, including gender, hair, scars, voice, and even horn type. For those missing the main protagonist from the first game, however, worry not, as we have been told if you have a save file from Nioh, you will actually gain some bonuses, including a cosmetic skin for the character of William. So you won't play as William, but if you want to look like him and you miss his look and style, you can actually equip that character skin, and perhaps there'll be more skins that we can find or download later on. Let's talk about the combat. So the combat will be similar to Nioh, reintroducing a couple of familiar things. So stances are back, so you will have a high, medium, and low stance for each weapon, which will slightly change their attacks. Combat will again be about balancing your health and stamina bar, or your key bar, and learning the attack patterns of enemies to plan well-timed attacks, parries, and dodges. But there will also be some new features that will shake up combat quite a bit. In this installment, you actually play as a half yokai character. As a result, you will have some pretty devastating supernatural powers, such as the ability to summon demons or yokai, and even transform into one yourself for a limited time. How can you gain these yokai yokai forms? Well, you can gain them by obtaining something called soul cores. These can be obtained from killing yokai. By taking these cores and delivering them to a shrine without dying, you will gain access to each yokai's powers and form. Nioh 2 also reintroduces co-op play, but this time that number has been increased by 1 and you will be able to play with up to 3 friends. If you don't have friends to help though, worry not. For those of you that are struggling with Nioh's incredibly challenging Souls-like combat, you can actually summon AI companions for support through something called a Benevolent Grave. This is an alternative to the Blood Graves from the first game, and these will allow you to summon an AI version of another player with all their gear and skills to assist you as a companion. One of the best elements, of course, of the original game was the multitude of weapons at your disposal, and Nioh 2 definitely offers the return of some familiar favorites and the introduction of some interesting additions. As you use each weapon, you will become more familiar with the weapons, providing additional buffs like increased damage and other bonuses. Each weapon will also have innate status bonuses as well. For example, the axe awards a +1 to stamina, the sword a +1 to constitution, and so on. Confirmed weapons include the axe, dual swords, hatchets, kusarigama, odachi, spear, switchglaive, and tonfa. The most interesting new weapon for me is definitely the switchglaive, which is a bloodborne-like weapon that can transform into various forms, each with different attacks. These weapons can all be found in the world, usually in hidden chests and on the bodies of defeated enemies. Finally, one of the biggest changes and improvements to Nioh 2 is the skill tree, which has been significantly expanded, allowing you to really develop your character and tailor your playstyle. Each weapon will have its own skill tree, focusing on unlocking new and passive skills. As well, you will also have skills to unlock on 4 other trees that reflect 4 very distinct playstyles. There is the ninja skill tree, which focuses on stealth, throwable bombs, and poisons to apply to your weapons. The samurai skill tree, which focuses on fortitude and unlocks various key pulses. The shiftling skill tree, which focuses on increasing your yokai form powers. And the onmyoi magic tree, which focuses on unlocking the ability to cast magic through talismans. We have been told that you can expect to beat the game in roughly 55 to 60 hours, depending on difficulty level and obviously how much you explore the world. But Nioh 2 looks incredible. The art style looks amazing. I am incredibly interested in Sengoku Japan. It's one of my favorite time periods in Japanese history, and I did enjoy the first game, so I'm really looking forward to jumping in and seeing how they improve on Nioh 2 and all the new additions, and I'm really looking forward to jumping in and checking out the new yokai powers as well. So there you have it. There is everything that we know so far on Nioh 2. What do you guys think of this game? Let me know in the comment section below. Is this something that you're interested in? If there's anything I've missed and haven't included in this, then please be sure to add that in the comment section below as well. If you enjoyed the video and found it informative, please support the channel by liking the video, commenting, subscribing, and if you would like to join the channel and become a member, you can do that by hitting the join button or jumping across onto Patreon and supporting the channel in that way. Anyway, hope you guys have a great week. Take care, and as always, happy gaming. Bye guys.